We spend so much time trying to be understood by others that ultimately we stop understanding ourselves because we're trying to make this big grand idea that we have, such as I want to start my own business, I want to open up a barber shop, I want to get to the NFL, I want to become a beauty technician, whatever it is that you want to do. We try to get everyone to understand this about us, but in the process, we start to limit it. We start to dumb it down because they don't get it. They're not supposed to. They don't have to get it because God didn't put that idea into their head. God gave you that idea. It's your job to go and act upon your dream and turn your dream into your reality. And in that process, a lot of people aren't going to understand. They're going to be frustrated with it. They're going to think that you're better than them, not in a wanting to learn from you way, but most people are going to be like, he think he better than me. She thinks she better than me. When in reality, you're just taking action upon your dream. You're doing your thing. And doing your thing can mean a lot of different things. It could be starting that business. It could be starting that barber shop. It could be going to college to get a certain degree or going to trade school. Everybody in your family is a plumber, but you want to be an electrician. Everybody in your family is a doctor, but you want to be an artist. Everybody in your family are nurses and teachers and things like that, and you want to go become a construction worker. You don't need it to make sense to them. But I know, especially teens and young adults who I speak to, we often have this thing about us like, no, I want my parents to understand, I want my family to understand, I want my friends to understand. And that's great, but you can't make them. You can't make a blind person see what you see. And we're often trying to make the blind see our vision. But if they were meant to see it, God would have shown it to them. But God showed it to you. So I think that it's kind of disrespectful when you don't take action on what your dream is. Because God wants you to go materialize it. And if you don't, He'll just pass it on to somebody else. Michael Jackson used to talk about that a lot, where he would get an idea at like 2 in the morning and he would go to the studio to record the song because he was afraid that Prince would that if he didn't do it, God would give the idea to Prince and Prince would go do it. So just take this as a little quick motivation that it don't need to make sense to everybody else. It needs to make sense to you. And you don't need a picture perfect plan. You don't need every single detail A to Z. You just need the rough draft and then you figure it out as you go. It's like playing a video game. You got two people. One of them has a manual on how to play the game, the master plan, A to Z, all the cheat codes, all the information on the game. The other person is a 5-year old who I just hand the controller and I say, go play. And after a week, we'll come back and both of you play the game. The 5-year old will be a whole lot better because he didn't know what he was doing, but he had an idea. He said, I'm going to figure out the game. And he played the game. He made a lot of mistakes. He got beat by the same boss 15 times in a row. But eventually, he figured out the boss's moves and he figured out what he needs to do. And then he figured out the combos and all of that. But the person who was sitting around thinking about it and I need to do this and I need to do that and making this master plan but taking no action on the plan, when it's game time, they're like, oh, I made a plan that actually doesn't work because I based it off of idea, not off of action. We all know how to achieve a six pack. We all know how to do that. Lift weights, run, eat healthy food. That's the formula. But if you don't actually go to the gym and try, You won't figure out what workout works for you. You won't figure out what meals work for you. You won't figure out what you need to do because you just sat around making a plan all day, not taking action. This is why a 5-year-old with a controller is better than a 20-year-old with a perfect manual. Because the 5-year-old actually is in the game and actually playing. But you can't try to take the advice from people in the bleachers. It's like football, right? You're in the NFL and you're on the field and you're running and you're tackling and you're doing all that stuff. And you got these people off in the bleachers and in the stand and they're saying, no, you need to do this. No, you need to do that. No, do this. Do that. Tackle them like this. Don't take the advice of people who aren't even in the game. Don't take the advice of people who are in the bleachers. Don't take the advice of someone who's not even on the field. Don't take the advice of somebody who isn't even qualified to give that advice. The patient cannot tell the brain surgeon how to operate. The person with the broken down car cannot tell the mechanic how to fix the engine. The person eating the food cannot tell the chef how to cook the food. They can say, I want it medium rare, but you can't tell me how to cook on my stove. You can tell me what you want, but you can't tell me how I should do it. You can't tell me how to season my food. I'm the chef, you're the person eating. I'm the mechanic, you're the person with the broken car. I'm the surgeon, you're the person who needs to be operated on. Don't listen to somebody who isn't playing the game. Because everybody got a plan, everybody an idea until they get punched in the mouth. That's a quote by Mike Tyson. Everybody is the world's best boxer until you get knocked out. And how do you become a better boxer? You gotta get knocked out. You don't become good at boxing by just sitting in the training room not sparring. No, you need to train and then we need to put you in the ring and we need to let you get hit. You need to get knocked out a couple times if you want to be good at fighting. If you want to become good at basketball, you got to practice. If you want to become good at speaking, you got to practice. Everybody has a perfect plan and everybody has all these great ideas, but very few people take action. And this is why I tell people all the time take the advice of people who are in the game, people who are taking action, people who are actually doing stuff. Because I wouldn't listen to my car mechanic on how to do brain surgery. I wouldn't listen to my brain surgeon on how to fix a car, and I wouldn't listen to either of them on how to cook a filet mignon. No. If I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to the chef. If I want to learn how to do surgery, I'm going to the surgeon. And if I want to learn how to fix a car, I'm going to the mechanic. Now, when you're trying to communicate your idea, your vision, your plan, your goal to somebody who's not even in the game, it's not going to make any sense to them. They don't know what you know. They don't see what you see. They don't have the understanding of what it is you're actually doing. This is why, great example of this, right? Go ask somebody what your prefrontal cortex is. Ask them, what is that? Most people, I have no clue what that is. Go ask a brain surgeon. They're gonna be like, oh, it's the front part of your brain that controls thinking and critical motor skills. That's normal to them. That's just basic information to them. They're gonna be like, that's the most simple question ever. Or what's your amygdala? Most people are like, to them, a brain surgeon, they're gonna be like, oh, that's the part of your brain that controls fight or flight. It's your panic response. Basic information to them. So, your idea for that barbershop or that business or that degree or that career or that goal, basic information to you. Basic information to somebody playing that game. Basic information to somebody taking action on that. Basic information to somebody actually doing it. But the people who not doing what you're trying to do, they're gonna be like, what? People who aren't computer programmers have no idea what JavaScript is. A computer program, they're like, oh, that's just a type of computer coding. Basic information to them. Or somebody who is trying to get into music, like you want to be a composer. Most people have no clue what a 16th note is. If you ask them, draw that. Show me, make the sound of 16th note. They have no clue what that is. They're like, but a composer, they're like, oh, that's basic information. So I'm going to close out with this. I understand that, as a teen or young adult, you want your family, you want your friends, you want people to understand. But you cannot make the blind see what you see. You cannot make the deaf hear what you hear. Stop trying to open blind people's eyes and stop trying to open a deaf person's ears. They cannot hear what you hear and they cannot see what you see. You have to trust your dream. You have to trust your belief. You have to have faith in the unseen. You got to walk by faith, not by sight. Because if you walk by sight on what you see in that bank account, if you walk by sight on what you see in your environment, if you walk by sight in what you see in the garage, if you walk by sight in whether or not you got the degree on the wall, if you walk by sight in whether or not your business taking off, if you walk by sight in how many sales you're making, if you walk by sight in what the world is telling you, you're gonna lose your mind. Because right now, physically, you don't got it. Right now, physically, that degree not on the wall. Right now, physically, that business might not be taking off. But by faith, you walk by faith, you know it's gonna happen. You're not operating off of what you see. You operating off what you see and hear. Walk by faith, not by sight. It don't matter what that bank account looking like right now. It don't matter what that business looking like right now. It don't matter what that degree or lack thereof. It don't matter if you got that car or lack thereof. It don't matter if you got that wedding ring or lack thereof. It don't matter if you got that relationship or lack thereof. It don't matter that. Because that is sight. You need to walk by faith. You know you getting married. You know you getting that car. You know you getting a degree. Because you're walking by faith, not by sight. Have a great day. I wish you all the best. And if you're interested in buying my book, Power to the People, where you can learn more about building mental resilience, self-love, and the strategies that have allowed me to be in the position I am today, hit that link in the description. Have a good one.